So in the lecture section, I cover this idea of the awning. On the left, you have the awning we're going to construct, and I just have an example of a similar kind of idea about an awning to an entry condition. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So I'm going to click back into Revit again, and if we went, let's say, to the south elevation, well, actually, let's go back to one of our technical drawings because we can look at the kind of dimensions that we need to, I guess, understand here. Um, let's first just understand that the top of glazing, this is no higher than 13 feet. So we want to think about our awning as being somewhere in this kind of a range, about 13 feet high. And if I go to one of our technical sheets, let's see if I can find this here. Um, rendered sheets section, there it is, the technical sheet. I'm going to have to save that later. We can zoom in here and you can realize that we have 16 feet of space to operate between or to create the width of our awning. So we want it to be a little bit under 16 feet or very close to that. We also want it to be probably no more than 20 or 22 feet deep. I'm going to go with 22 feet. That'll allow it to stick out a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. And the technique we're going to use with that is we're going to go to File and we're going to open up a generic model. So I'm going to go New, Family. We'll go into the English Imperial template and we'll scroll down until we can find a generic model. And we want just a basic generic model. It doesn't need to be anything special. And we're immediately presented with the top view of it. And so we want to create those kind of parameters that we've just discussed, that idea being 16 feet wide and 22 feet deep. So I'm going to go ahead and create some reference lines. So I'll just do these quickly here. Let me zoom out here and let's make this. I'll just type in 22 feet. And what I'll do is I will use the move tool. I'm going to find the center of this. There it is marked for me. I'll drag this to the center and then I'll grab it again and drag it off, use the move tool and drag it off 8 feet, which is our 16 feet width. Oops, sorry, that should have been 8. So I'll just change that. And let's go ahead and mirror that over. So that'll give us our 16-foot width. And I made it 22 feet long. So if we go back to create and grab some reference lines, we can draw the beginning and end to this. And this gives us kind of like our envelope to work in. Now, if we go to the front view of this, we don't have those reference lines there either, so we actually need to create a little bit. So I'm going to go back to create and do another reference line. We'll come up that, I think it was, let's say we'll come up 14 feet. I'll click that off. We'll find out how far it is off the reference. We'll change that to 8 feet. And we'll go ahead and mirror this over. And we'll give it a top parameter of no more than 14 feet. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So let's actually now look at constructing a rib. So I'm going to use the extrusion tool, but I'm only going to make it, let's say, I'm going to make these ribs not 1 foot thick, but I'll make them 1/2 inch thick. Whoops, too many inches. And I didn't mean to start drawing yet. So let me zoom in here. And the first thing I want to make is that idea of an arch. So I'll come down 1 foot, come across, and then come up and grab it. That looks like it's probably a little less than I want. So I'm going to do Control Z. I'm going to come down a little further. So let's come down 2 feet. And then I'm going to come down for the bottom of this arc. I'll come down 6 inches, so it'll be a little bit on both sides here. And then we'll make another arc. And I won't make this exactly the same. I'll make it so it's a little bit thicker in the center, so it has a little bit of strength to it. We'll go ahead and complete this, and we'll look at it from a, excuse me, I had it always does this, I don't exactly know why. There we go, in a view, a 3D view, and there's our first arch, so to speak. So I'm going to modify this a little bit because I want to make it a little more decorative and a little more lightweight. So I'm going to go ahead and double click into this, and I'm going to create some openings in it. So I'll make the first opening here. Let's say I'll make this 6 inches. I'll make another one next to it 5 inches. Another one next to it, let's say 4, 3, 2, and 1. If I can get one so small. Okay, and the only problem here is this one looks a little odd placed. Let's just move these over just a tad. And it's just a rough. I'm trying to do this relatively quickly. All right, so that's completed. I'll complete that now. And we'll look again at the 3D view. And there we have a kind of a lightweight decorative arch system. So now we need to make some copies of that. So I'll go to the reference level. Actually, that doesn't work very nice, does it? Because it's up above, or it's below the reference level. I'll go to the 3D view, and I'll just go to the top. And that'll allow us to make a copy of these. So I'll just tab until I select the extrusion. I've got that by tabbing, and I clicked on it. And now I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to turn off the constraint palette. And I'm going to make copies that go about 5 feet in each direction. So I'm going to grab somewhere in the center here, and then move down 5 feet, keeping it aligned, and then moving down another 5 feet. And then I'll do the same thing going in the other direction. So I'm just going to move up now, and instead of going 5 feet, I'm going to go 15 feet. So that's 5 feet past there. And then I'll just go up another 5 feet. And it looks pretty good. And let's go ahead and look at this in a 3D view. And there we have our arches. So the thing we haven't seen is what it looks like in our project. So let's go ahead and save this with a name. So I'll do a file. I'll do a save as, family, and I'll call this awning. We'll go load into project. We don't want to put it in the curve profile, but we want to put it in our main project. So I'll go OK. And it won't allow me to place it here. So what I want to do is go to some place where I can. So I'll go to the site view, and you'll notice now it allows me to place it. And what I want to do is, this is always very troublesome for a lot of people. If I was to place this now, let's click off of it and go to modify. Many times you want to place that component and you don't know how to, and you've lost it. So I want you to go through the process of realizing that anytime you can go to component, place a component, and it will show up over here, and now it's ready to be applied. So you'll go to architecture, component, place component, and then select the component you want to place. We're going to come in and zoom in here nice and tight so we can accurately align this. It's going to snap to our grid, and we'll come pretty close to that back wall, and I'll click off of it. And then let's go ahead and exit out of that, and then look at that from a model view and see what we've got. Let's go to our south elevation and see what we've got. So it looks like we're in pretty good shape with our placement of our awning. So next we'll look at adding some glass to the top of it and some maybe a curb or gutter to each side of it.